On October 30, in a rainy night, Eric Draven and Shelley Webster were murdered without remorse by people that contribute to an oppressive painting that is the city where this story happens. The 1994 film The Crow was a landmark that became the blueprint for many films that followed. With its dark and edgy style, it spoke directly to a portion of the youth of the time drawn to alternative or punk culture. It sort of romanticized pain and revenge, creating a melancholic world where outcasts could find refuge in a sense. But it also reminded us that darkness and violence aren't the answer. After all, it can't rain all the time. This film goes beyond its surface, telling the story of a man torn away from happiness, thrown into a limbo of despair. Eric is brought back to life with powers he doesn't understand, haunted by the memories of his fiancée, brutal murder, and his own. These memories become the fuel for his vengeance, and he won't rest until justice is done. Everything we take for granted can vanish in a second. Eric is given the chance to seek justice by his own hand, something we know is morally wrong, especially from a spiritual point of view. God doesn't want us to answer violence with violence, yet we can't help but understand Eric's rage and sorrow. While we try to do an inspection of ourselves, asking what we will do in his shoes. His artistic and emotional nature, shaped by a troubled past, bursts out when everything that made his life peaceful is taken away. But The Crow isn't really about death, it's actually about life. It's about how the living face death, loss, and despair and have to accept that it is a condition of life itself. It can't rain all the time means that no matter how dark the world becomes, there's always a glimpse of hope. The film's world is harsh and corrosive, filled with broken people searching for solace. Eric is a man in shock. His soul forgets, then slowly remembers what happened as he moves through the shadows, feeling emotions and remembering things through the objects he touches. Each memory hits like lightning, shaping this intense, theatrical and beautifully tragic character. So, the modern iteration of the character from 2024 also tries to appeal to the young audiences of today, just as the original did to the 90s, but the original does it much better though. And having Bill Skarsgård, another person to the list where I might pronounce the name incorrectly, really had me hooked to see what they could bring to the table. Actually, the big positive about this film is his final form and the acting in the last half as the Crow, but this one took the concepts of the original and twisted them with a lot of different ideas that do not connect at all. It feels like it drags and at the same time it's rushed, with a lot of scenes that felt something was missing, like a good chunk was cut from the final film. I mean, it takes a lot of time to Eric's final form here also. In the original is the Crow for 90% of the runtime, and it plays back to back with memories of what led him to awake. Here we follow Eric going bit by bit, giving us hints of what he eventually ends up becoming, and we only get the full performance at the ending, which would work if the film was executed differently. Also, I really don't like the fact that they take away the main conflict of the original. That really strange idea where he is given the possibility of resurrecting Shelley, which in the original the main concept is accepting her loss, avenging her, but after facing her death, moving on. But anyway, back to the original Crow. Again, the original film did a lot with a simple premise, in the sense that its simplicity is its greatest strength, with subtle details that make it interesting, engaging, and even if tragic, entertaining and badass. I think actually it had the perfect balance between theatrical and serious at the same time. Its visual presentation contributes to its serious tone. It's aggressive with its high contrast, it takes place mostly during a rainy night, the color palette is really well used here and the mix of punk and goth style works really well. The score is also beautiful by Grammy Revel. That beat at the end of Bird of Legend and Rain Forever gets me every time. When Sarah finds Eric on the streets, If you saw the film, you know. They used CGI to map Brandon Lee's face to shed Stahelski's body after he passed away on set, and it is such an incredible work because it's almost unnoticeable. Brandon Lee will always be remembered still as the character. Most of the work was already there. It's really sad what happened, but his legacy will always live on. He really gave life to a character that until today is an icon, one that still serves as a hopeful reminder that it really can't rain all the time.